Well, good morning. How are you? We are broadcasting live this morning from Balboa Park in beautiful San Diego, California. This is Garden America. I'm Brian Main along with John Begnasco, Tiger Palafox. Good to have you along here as we broadcast live, as I mentioned, from the world-famous Room 101 in Balboa Park for the, the Plumeria Festival. That's right, John. A heck of a newsletter which just screamed plumerias.
It did. I really loved it. It's almost like we were here already, John.
Yeah. Well, I was looking forward to it, especially. I was really looking forward to getting out of Fallbrook. It was 109 yesterday.
That is insane.
Bad for roses, but good for plumeria.
Yeah, exactly. And bad for roses, but that's just because you're keeping up on the watering and, you know, the petals burn and the foliage burns, right? Because roses, in terms of heat, they what is their, like, top end?
Well, you know, they
100 degrees?
Top end for what?
Like they're not critical.
Because they grow roses in Palm Springs,
right?
And a lot of them. But the summer is usually a dormant period. And the problem with our roses is that they're not used to that.
Yeah.
So they don't go dormant. They were actively growing. They were looking great. And then all of a sudden you put a blowtorch to them.
Yeah, but you're getting them prepared for the Santa Ana winds here in another month, so at least they'll be nice and sturdy by then.
Yeah, but you know that's kind of the end of everything. I had just fertilized, and I was telling you I had to water 4 times yesterday, just to keep the plants alive.
Now how many? 4 times? How many plants? 100?
Don't you have like 1,500?
How about 1,200?
1,200.
So you did 1,200 plants 4 times.
Right.
So 12 times 400.
I didn't have to water the ones in the ground 4 times. Once was fine.
Right.
And then I got up really close to check on them when I took a face plant into one.
What was the difference? What's the difference between in the ground plant versus potted plant? Like, meaning if you water the one in the ground once a week, you're watering that potted one 5 times a week, 3 times a week.
When? In normal
in
conditions?
like this
Yeah.
this time
Well,
no
this kind of
time
weather.
of year this time of
Well, in
weather.
this kind of weather, I'm watering the pots literally 4 times a day.
Right.
And the ones in the ground, you know, maybe every 3 days.
You know, if
Wow.
you had bad drainage in your pot, you wouldn't have to do it so much.
Yeah. If you just took clay in the bottom of your
Yeah,
pots.
there you go.
Well, I did
That'd
go
be
on
really good.
Amazon to see how quickly I could get 1,200 saucers. But then I figured by the time they get here, the heat will be gone.
And by the time you got to each individual one and put them underneath it.
Right.
Hey, speaking
Exactly.
of numerous plants, we're inside room 101.
Yep.
I can't even begin to estimate how many plumerias are in here. Plus, we have outside. There's
Yeah.
got to be 1,200 plumerias here today.
And there's a lot of unique varieties.
Yeah, different, unique varieties. Not just unique, but uniquely different.
Isn't
I
that?
read the marketing.
I'm thinking, I won't say what I'm thinking.
Uniquely different, John.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was thinking to a debate and going, I'm not sure he knows what he's talking about either.
No, see, I feed John these lines and see, you know, it's like casting out the bait.
Yeah.
To see if he takes the hook.
Well, that's like we were, you know, so to give everybody a preview a little bit earlier in setting up for the show, just because of the location, we couldn't set up at our normal luxurious time of getting here at 7, doing mic checks, getting things set up.
Right.
We didn't get into this room until 7:30.
Till like 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe.
Which really crunches setting in a system up,
Yep.
doing our checks, making sure everything's all right, and actually connecting, right? So John made a joke to me while we were outside about, I don't remember what it was. I just looked at him and I go, not yet.
Yeah. let me take care of a couple of things. Make sure we're good to go.
Yeah.
Then you can jab me in the side.
It wasn't about the room we were in, was it?
Oh, yeah, it was. We were in the major California room.
Major
Well,
California
no,
room.
and here's something else. We sat outside for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and I decided to pull on the door and it opened.
Yeah. You just got to every once in a while give it a
Right.
risk.
You know, because nobody's going to come out and say, "Okay, everybody, come on in.
Exactly.
We're ready to
Our
go."
listeners are wondering why the Major California room is funny.
Because it's supposed to be Majorca,
Yeah, it's Mallorca.
right?
Right.
But it's spelled wrong. Because Majorca is Mallorca. But it's Majorca on the door.
Could be.
Right?
Mallorca,
Majorca.
right?
Can I do the quote of the week?
Yes.
Oh, there's a quote this week. That's right.
Yeah, and the reason I want to do it now is because I need to get back to the page where I'm supposed to be. But usually I try to make the quote something
Pertinent to the
about
subject.
gardening, right?
Or pertinent to what we're doing this week, right?
Right, but I was more philosophical this last week, and the quote was from C.S. Lewis. And he said, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending.
You know, Dana loved that quote.
Did she?
Because she read the newsletter before I did. She goes, that's a great quote from John.
That's what I thought, and
I mean, what did he say this time?
I needed to quote because, I had a little accident
Yeah.
last week, and just that came across that. I said, you know what, that's fine. I'm going to just start from here.
You're not going to post your picture on
No.
our website, are you?
No.
Okay.
No.
We don't want to turn away people.
But John took a tumble, but look at he's here. He's
He
playing
looks
hurt
beautiful
once
now.
again.
Our
Got the-
makeup specialist did wonders.
You know what? 10 minutes in the makeup chair. Look at that.
Yeah.
Good as
I
gold.
think good looking or handsome, but I don't know about beautiful.
Just as beautiful as these plumerias that are surrounding us right now. So we're going to have a series of guests lined up for us today because we're here again at the Plumeria Society festival, show,
Right.
sale, because they have a flower show, they have a plant sale, a cutting sale, they have events, shaved ice, music.
John wants the shaved ice.
Shave.
Shave ice.
Shave ice.
Yeah.
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 Not shaved.
I'm going to look for shaved ice then.
By the way,
Prove you
Carla,
wrong.
Carla had a choice to join us here
Uh-huh.
or to look at Plumeria Monday in Gila.
Oh.
So she decided.
She's here, right?
No, she's going to Gila on
What?
Monday. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Now, wait, she was in Hawaii early this year, right?
Yeah, she was there
Yes.
just before we went, right?
Yeah, February, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about the other camera shot that we're looking at, or will be looking at on and off today? With
Oh,
look
Carla's
at
doing Kona, not Gila.
Oh.
Maybe she's flying into Gila.
So we're gonna put the camera at different shots to show
Right.
different parts of the festival and what's happening here today. But right now our camera's focused on some of the blooms, and this is provided to us by one of the people selling plumerias here. And what she did was she took blooms and she's gonna put them by each of the plants, so
when
because
it
not all
bloom-
because
yeah.
not all the plants have blooms on them.
So when
right
it
now.
blooms, this is what it's going to look
this
like.
is what it's gonna look like. So what a great selection of pinks and reds and
Right.
yellows and blushes, all kinds of stuff. And there's a lot of really fun, different plumerias here. I think that probably one of the best resources for unique varieties of plumerias to be able to come here by. I will say that if you're planning on coming down here and you're in the San Diego area now, there is already a line to get in because it is first come, first serve.
Yep.
And it doesn't open until 10 a.m. and there's already a line
It's like-
of people to get in.
It's like going to a concert.
It is.
You know,
'Cause
you're-
our show will be over before 10, right?
Correct.
Just before 10
but-
o'clock.
We can
So
go
are we
ahead.
already in? Are we in now? So we don't have to get in line.
I hope so.
I think we are in. I think we
Yeah.
are. So we're going to take a break, Tugger, for our friends on Biz Talk Radio to stay in line and keep the log where it should be. So again, we are broadcasting live from the Plumeria Festival, Balboa Park, Room 101. I'm Brian Main, John Begnasco, Tiger Palafox. It is Garden America. We are live, courtesy of iHeartMedia and Entertainment and the good friends here at Balboa. Welcome back to Garden America, broadcasting live once again. If you're just joining us from Balboa Park, beautiful Balboa Park in Room 101. Hey, it's the Plumeria Festival. We are here, and again, going to be here for the next couple of hours. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. Those on Biz Talk Radio, Facebook Live. Questions, comments, I suppose we could take a few of those. But right now, we're going to kick it over to you, Tiger, and our guest, which is he is standing by.
Yeah, Mike Atkinson has joined us here at the table, and Mike Atkinson is a member of the Plumeria Society here in San Diego. Longtime member, from what I hear, right?
Well, I'm not going to say my age.
No, but you've been a member for many years,
Yes,
right?
very long time.
Yeah, and
yes.
you actually are part of the sale. You're selling plants here currently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I also sell them, yeah. I have a
So-
Plumeria farm in La Mesa,
Uh-huh.
so we grow them there. And so we've been selling in this for, 20 years or something like that.
So have you been growing Plumeria for 20 years?
Oh,
or
almost
longer?
30. Yeah,
Almost 30
about
years?
30 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so first tell us a little bit about the society. Like, this is its 25th year, right? You guys
Yeah.
are celebrating 25 years now.
Yeah, we are old. And so I came in to help them with their web stuff. My wife had been going for a while, and they sucked me right in, and I started doing the web mastering stuff, and then that was it. But that was my early mentoring days. These guys were the original first growers of Plumeria in Southern California.
And do you see this big change from 25 years ago to what it is today in sense of, because I feel when I drive around San Diego, it's almost like you can't not see a plumeria.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, 25 years ago,
Yeah.
was that the case still, or
goodness,
no?
no? Goodness, no. It was far and few between, and this room was nothing like this.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, oh, yeah. I mean, maybe a dozen vendors, and it was only this room. We didn't have all the other stuff, and people would kind of wander in and out, and it was nothing like getting 10,000 people in a weekend.
Yeah, and just to give people perspective, I mean, we're in probably the sales room, which
Yes.
you would call this, right? This is where a lot of the plant sales are. But then there's an exterior sales area.
Right. There's a patio straight out there with a whole nother group of vendors. There's like 30 vendors here. And then there's another patio that has all the food, all the island food, and then all the Polynesian dancers.
And then also you guys are doing a show contest?
Flower show.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently it's the largest plumeria adjudicated show in
Wow.
the world.
What would you estimate how many plumerias inside and out today
For sale.
for sale?
Oh, over 1,000. Easy.
I guess 1,200.
Yeah, that's probably a good one.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it's over 1,000.
So tell us a little bit about the society itself. Like, what is your guys' goal? What do you guys focus on?
Yeah, the focus is really just the education of plumeria. It's like what I said. What I got in the early days was an amazing education from the original people doing it. And so the meetings are all designed to help growers grow better.
Okay.
And, there's all kinds of societies here, Rose and, bromeliad, everything. And they're all, we're all trying to do the same thing, help people understand how these grow and how to do them right in Southern California. And then, of course, the social side. And after 30 years of doing this, I found out it's not about the plumerias, it's about the people.
Yeah, and it's all about kind of connecting and sharing your successes,
Yeah.
sharing your failures.
Oh, much more failures than successes.
Now, do you guys have a monthly meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
from February through August. And we meet, it's the second Sunday of the month. And so we use people that are in the club to do presentations. We do people from outside the club. We'll do Zoom with somebody from, in Florida or Texas or something like that. So we get a great variety of different types of speakers and perspectives.
Now, do you have a question, John?
Well, I was just going to ask, over the last 30 years, have you seen a change in varieties offered? For instance, trying to think back, I've been in the nursery business for almost 60 years now.
Wow.
But I don't recall the influence from Thailand.
Right.
And that seems like a relatively new innovation to me.
But you have that in the rose world now. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Thailand?
No, not Thailand.
Oh, okay.
The plumerias.
Plumeria. Did I say roses?
Yeah, no.
No, but
Oh.
he was
But
saying.
see, what I'm saying is the Thai influence has hit a lot of the other
Right.
worlds, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not
Okay.
just us.
Well,
But
that's
yes,
what I
it's-
was wondering.
yes,
They
it's
do a lot
massive.
of breeding in Thailand that you
Yes.
don't see
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I know that I'm trying to think years ago, there was the Plumeria people that were in Texas.
Right, yeah.
And then some in Florida. But Thailand was bringing in different colors and blooms,
Oh, yeah.
variegated foliage.
Many more variegated
Yeah,
varieties, and many more dwarf varieties.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what has happened, and they have for instance, Nui is probably the most famous one over there, and he in an interview said that he'll germinate 10,000 seeds a year,
Wow.
and in the end, however many years that takes, he may have 20 that go to market.
Wow.
It's something but that's how many you have to do to get the crazy,
Oh, yeah.
amazing,
Right.
beautiful varieties that they do.
Now, that is better than roses because Jackson and Perkins used to do 300,000 seedlings a year and get 4 or 5.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to be picky because there's a lot of similarities within the cultivars.
And not only just the flower itself, right? The growth habit. I mean, I was
Right.
talking with someone earlier about where the flower sets on the plant.
Yeah. All of
Whether
that.
the foliage is,
Yeah.
tolerant of heat or, different things like that. Now, this is a fundraiser for the Plumeria Society.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you guys do with the funds raised at this event?
I mean, certainly there's part of just operating
Yeah.
funds because, we have to operate. We're all volunteer run, so nobody's getting a salary. But the coolest thing is that a lot of the monies that we raise through the year goes to our education fund. And the education fund can be anywhere from, we've sponsored students at Cuyamacan, their horticulture department. We have sponsored PhD studies at the University of Hawaii and the University of Florida. So we're all about advancement, right? And so if we can use those funds to help advance the plumeria world, that's really what we want to get behind. Plus, we also do it where we take a lot of the plants that we get and we take them to schools.
Oh.
And Jeff Sharp does a great job with that, and he was at a school this year. Everybody got a cutting to take home. He had some instructions for them, and so
Yeah.
get them when they're young.
Well, hey, Mike, we're going to have to take a break.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to hold over maybe into the next spot. Otherwise, we're going to have another guest on because we got a lot of fun people here to chat with about plumerias and what's going on here. But thank you very much for joining us
All right,
today.
thanks, guys. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Mike, and we're going to take a break for Biz Talk Radio. Again, Garden America broadcasting live from Room 101, Balboa Park, the Plumeria Festival here, 2024. Back after these messages on Biz. Okay, we are back broadcasting live. If you're just joining us, live, that is, from Room 101, Balboa Park here in San Diego, California, the Plumeria Festival. It is off and running, officially opens up at 10 o'clock this morning if you are in San Diego. But as we mentioned prior, a big line out there, right, Tiger?
Yeah, I just walked outside to tell our next guest to be ready in 10 minutes, and I looked around, and there's a line going around the corner now of people. I don't know how long it is.
Yeah, we've had a line go all the way to the fountain.
Oh, wow. For those of you that don't know Balboa Park, the fountain is not near. I would
7 miles away,
Yeah,
right?
that's probably 400 or 500 people in line.
Yeah, exactly. Before the break, Mike, thank you for holding over.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
You were telling us that, the funds go to educational purposes for the society. That's what the society is based on, I think, is educating people. And like you're saying, now at the same time, going out and doing community outreach for plumerias. Well, why do you feel it's important for people to share this knowledge of plumeria?
Because I think this festival is a great example. 10,000 people, right? I mean, 20 years ago, we were sitting here, maybe had a few hundred people. And we want to help these people understand how to grow them because it is different. There's really no other plant like it, very different in Southern California. And yes, it's from the tropics, but it adapts, but you have to make that adaptation happen. And so because we don't want people to walk away with, they pick one up at Home Depot and they kill it in the first month, right?
Yeah.
So we would rather be there at the front end, help them understand just the basics of what it takes to grow here and how they can thrive.
Would you say the last couple of 2 or 3 days, this is perfect weather for plumerias?
So that's one of the adaptations because, yes, we had some humidity, especially yesterday.
Yes.
But just the dry desert heat is rough on them. And so this morning when I was going around picking blooms for what I'm selling, it was hard to get some good blooms because, within an hour or two, they're faded.
What about adaptability to dry?
Adaptability is fine. If you go through the Coachella Valley, Palm Springs, you'll see big trees, but they have to bring their plumerias in for a good part of the year, so they're not under direct sun, and that you have to grow them over time to get them to a place where the root system can go out and get put in the ground in the spring.
So they would be indigenous to that climate eventually.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. They do fine.
Carla in Huntington Beach wants to know why the pots are in plastic bags, just to keep things neat.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we just don't want the soil and stuff to get on people's cars.
Yeah.
And then Veronica, I'm sorry, Tiger.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
Veronica in Spring Valley heard you mention that there were dwarf plumerias.
Yes.
Now, there's a difference between evergreen plumerias, a different species than the other plumeria, right? And what's the difference between those two? And are there dwarfs in both species? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so you're talking about the obtusa species, which is evergreen,
right?
And then rubra is the big species that has all the different colors. All the other species are all white with a yellow center. Okay, and so there are dwarfs in both rubra and in obtusa. So probably one of the most famous ones is dwarf Singapore pink, which is a gorgeous evergreen. But That's one of the big things that has come out of Thailand. Jungle Jacks is a huge brand that's all over the country now, and they have really focused on making some great patio plants. You know, because there's some people that just have a balcony or a patio. They don't have, land. And so this way they can put it in the
So those
in the patio.
dwarfs are better for containers, probably,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And like you kind of mentioned, some of those people might have to bring them inside for a period of time.
Yes.
So when you have a 10-foot
Yeah,
tree,
yeah.
moving it into your living
Exactly.
room isn't always an
Not at
option,
all,
right?
not at all.
That's a good question. If you're if you're in an area that's cold in the winter and you have to bring it in, is it better to have a deciduous variety rather than an evergreen?
I don't think it particularly matters, John. So here's the thing.
So I'm
Well-
thinking in the winter it's going to be hot and dry
Right.
indoors.
Well, what happens is, for instance, my evergreens that are in the ground, yes, they keep their leaves, and yes, they are horrible because they're not used to any temperatures under 65.
Right.
And so and we get into the 30s, even the high 20s, and so they just turn yellow. And they hold those until the new ones come out in the spring.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
that's
so they just look bad.
right. It's because they don't have all that humidity to keep them looking nice. And that's
Yeah.
the same for all plumerias, because number one question through the summer is, why is my plant dying? And it's because the leaves are yellow or burnt or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with your plant.
Yeah.
And I've seen that on mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm in a patio.
Yeah.
It's probably 4 feet high.
Yeah.
And it's done wonderful this year so far.
Yeah, Brian, it's it is one of the few plants where the status of the leaves
Is not
does
an
not tell you the
yes.
status of the plant.
Right.
Okay?
So don't freak out.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the message today.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we go back to the kind of importance of the Plumeria Society, because you guys have connected this event to more than just the Plumerias, meaning culturally the Plumeria is also very important. Polynesian culture, we mentioned Hawaii,
Right.
A lot of areas, this flower is their symbol of where they're from. And,
Yep.
and we mentioned Thailand and how they're big into the breeding, but it's a big symbol of,
Yes.
who they are, where they're from.
Very much.
When you go to events, they wear leis,
Yep.
Plumeria crowns,
Yep.
all kind of stuff. So you guys not just connected the plants, but you're actually connecting the culture of the plant, right?
Absolutely. And let me tell you something. Most people don't know this. The vast majority of people assume it's from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay? It is actually a Mexican plant. It originated on the Yucatan Peninsula, Cancun area. Aztecs and Mayans have paintings and drawings of them using them in ceremonies.
Wow.
And then it spread out to the Caribbean from there. And then it wasn't until Europeans came and discovered the Caribbean and started, the horticulturalists started taking plant samples, and then they discovered the Pacific Islands
Wow.
and brought them with them. Or in the case of Plumeria, it was one German horticulturalist or botanist, I believe, that was in Thailand and saw a beautiful white yellow and took a cutting of it, and it's still in the Honolulu Botanic Garden, the original one. That was
Wow.
1860.
So it's really new.
So if you
to
go to
them.
Hawaii, you're never going to see them in the wild. They're only where people are.
Oh.
Okay, and that's true in all the islands.
Okay.
But it became an important part. In fact, in many islands, they're called cemetery flowers, because what they would do is grow these trees in cemeteries, so you could come and visit your loved ones and sit under these amazing trees with that fragrance
Yeah.
just falling down on you, and have this beautiful, sweet experience.
Okay.
So the
Interesting. I didn't
history
know
of
that.
Plumerias.
Yeah.
That is really neat. And again, like I said, this event connects it all.
It does.
So
And-
it's really neat how you guys
Yes.
have done that to
Yeah.
make it more than just the plant.
And that's why it was so much fun when we added the food and the
Yeah.
dancers, because it brings that cultural aspect into it of the area of the world that has fully embraced the Plumeria, and it's made it a part of their history. The things that they do, it's interwoven into it.
Yeah, it's spectacular. Again, we're here in Balboa Park, room 101. For those of you that don't know, this is Casa del Prado, right?
Yep.
This
Casa
is the
del
building
Prado,
is Casa del
right
Prado.
across from the Natural History Museum.
Yeah, right next to the
fountain as
the
well.
fountain, and
Yeah.
but what do they call the building that's under construction right now?
Oh,
not
the
a greenhouse.
Botanic Garden.
The Botanic
The
Garden.
Botanic
yes.
Gardens.
Yes.
Yeah, it's still under construction,
Yeah.
looking beautiful.
I actually
coming
donated
along.
a Plumeria to that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so there's going to be one in there.
Oh, perfect.
And did we touch upon how many you grow roughly early on?
Oh, I have 300 in the ground, and I have hundreds in pots. I probably have close to 250 to 300 different varieties.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Lots of fun. Well, Mike, lots of good information
thank
you're
you.
sharing with us. Again, we're here in Balboa Park right now live. Come see Mike. Come see some of the plants that he has here, or just come check out the festival. So
Thanks for having me, Tiger.
yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you
Thanks,
very
guys.
much.
Right, we're going to take a break here on Garden America. And again, as Tiger mentioned, broadcasting live, Room 101 here in Balboa Park, the Plumeria Festival. It is today and tomorrow, officially opening up for guests to purchase at 10 a.m. this morning. Going to take a break for Biz Talk Radio. Back after these messages here on Garden. Okay, we are back from the break. Thank you to those tuned in on Biz Talk Radio. The rest of us on Facebook Live. Wow, what a scene! What a place! Room 101 here in Balboa Park for the Plumeria Festival 2024, and the guests Tiger and John just keep on coming.
What's funny is that it's kind of cool for people watching on Facebook Live right now, and I feel bad for the people that are going to hear this on the radio because you see all the activity happening around
Right.
us. You see us moving, bringing in guests, seeing people come up and talk to us in between breaks. Where on the radio, all you are seeing is this, or hearing is this hustle and bustle of what's going on.
And you can imagine, those on Biz Talk Radio, imagine what is happening.
Yeah, so we have now joining us at the table is Alex Franco from Plumeria Papa, right? And
Get that mic up to you there,
yeah,
as close as you can.
You got it.
there
you go.
Close enough. There you go.
Alex is a grower and seller here of Plumerias, and we're going to talk to you about some really unique, fun stuff that you guys have here today, right?
Oh yeah. I bring in a lot of different things. I basically try to bring in stuff that collectors want. So I'll bring stuff in from Thailand, southern Mexico, which they're native to. Most people think they're native to Hawaii because it's so commercialized out there. But southern Mexico is like the christening of where they came in Central America.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to bring in some rare stuff. I mean, I don't know how well this camera picks up things, but I try to pick in. This is about as close as you get to blue. This is more of a silvery gray color. You get on Google and you see blue, but there's never blue like what's in your shirt here.
Right.
But like silver grays and lavenders for
Uh-huh.
sure.
That's called
What's that
opal?
What's that one's called?
That one's called opal. And that one is actually, this is a picture in Riverside.
Oh, okay.
Of my tree. So that's opal, and that one is originally from Thailand, the hybrid. This is a very popular one. So Maya is actually an older variety, about 25 years, I believe now. And this variety, though, has a little bit more of a lighter contrasting leaf versus the more of a green leaf. More of the green leaf is what people see mostly, but I try to bring in this one because it has more whites and yellows in it versus the green camouflage look.
So
See
this
what
one
it
you
says on the back there, Tiger?
don't buy me,
No, it says John.
John.
Exactly.
Now this one, I mean, it does have a pretty flower. I think if people can see it on the camera, it's a pink, white, blush flower. But at the same time, now you're buying it for the foliage,
You buy
not
for
so
the
much
foliage,
just
yeah.
the plant now.
Yeah, you buy for the foliage. The flower, I put a picture on it, but it flowers like once every 3 years.
Oh, really?
It's
So
not
it's
a
really
great flower.
rare flower.
And like most variegated plants, I think you know that I do plants, not just plumeria, but like most plants, variegated plants will want more of a shaded location.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they don't have the chlorophyll to process all that sun.
Yeah.
Because they have no green. So they need more shade to protect it from the sun so they don't get burnt.
Okay.
Which leads me to this one over here that actually has a little burn on it, just from my transporting. This one's actually called variegated Plumeria pudica, which is actually a different leaf. It's actually looks
Yeah.
like, it's like a spade.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So,
now I've had that, but not the variegated one.
Yeah.
Just
and,
the plain green.
And see how the edge right there has a burn?
Yeah.
That's from getting a little bit too much sun during the transport.
It's like going outside with that suntan lotion on for us.
Yes, for lighter people.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Now
sure.
that looks like it's grafted. Is that one been grafted?
This is grafted. Yeah, it's grafted right there. You can see the V graft. I don't know if camera can see that.
Yeah.
But that's V grafted. A lot of them are when they come from Thailand. It helps with shipping.
And
So
we-
you bring them in from Thailand and then you graft them onto.
they come in
Oh,
grafted.
they come in
Yeah,
grafted.
they have roots. They have the grafts already done. The only thing I have to do is basically quarantine them for about 3 months.
Oh, okay.
I do 3 to 6 months, just depending. Number 1, to make sure they root. Number 2, make sure there's no viral. I try to stress them with heat to try to bring out any virus that they might have. That way, I'm not spreading any more virus because there's
Yeah.
a virus out there called Frangipani mosaic virus.
Okay.
And it doesn't kill the tree or hurt the tree, but the plant holds it, and it comes out in the foliage with some black staining on the leaves, and in the flower with some like blood red droplets on the flower. That's what it looks like. It's like blood.
Now, one of our listeners was mentioning in our newsletter this week, we featured Plumeria filifolia, and they were wondering if there were any at the show.
Yeah. Well, I
And
have.
we have one,
have this
which
guy.
has been sold.
It's already gone.
It's already gone.
It always goes fast. You know, I only brought these in here this year as testers because I haven't brought these in before. I brought in a dozen, and I have sales almost every weekend, or at least every other weekend.
Right.
So they've sold actually at every show. So I'll just bring more in next year, next season. But these are also grafted too. You can see this hardy rootstock right here is actually a seedling rootstock, and it's grafted into the butt right there of that seedling.
So now you bring them in grafted, and I think a lot of our guests understand why the importance of grafting as far as a vigorous plant.
Yeah.
Is that what goes back? Is that these plants are actually very tender to kind of Southern California, so you do bring them in grafted, so they are more vigorous here?
It's actually a combination of a few things.
Okay.
One, transport. It has to go in the mail for usually more than a week.
Got it.
Number two, better rootstock, so it's going to be a better plant overall. And the third thing is just time.
Yeah.
It takes a plant from a cutting to root takes about 2 to 3 months versus a grafted plant about a month. So it's faster for them, and it's easier to process them out doing it that way.
Makes
Do you do
sense.
any shipping?
I don't do any shipping. Everybody okay, that's probably somebody that I know that asked if I did shipping.
No, well,
That's a big joke because I have a huge nursery,
Right.
and I don't ship anything because I just don't have the manpower on
Yeah,
it.
it's tough.
And
yeah,
it's
this
tough.
is actually someone in Huntington Beach, and
yeah.
they want to know your
it's-
business name. If you could post it, I don't know if
yeah.
you can post
Yeah,
it.
Plumeria Papa, and I will post a link on that
Okay.
for sure.
If they're HB, they might know who I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Orange County, so. A couple other ones here that I put on side here. This one's called Blueberry Divine, and coastally it is more of a silvery color, but when you get into some heat and some humidity, it will get a little bit more of that lavender color, as you guys can see.
Yeah.
So I'm just showing that to the.
Yeah,
photo
it's
here.
perfect. It
This
is.
and this is also a graft here. You can see that's grafted right there.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff. Hey, we're gonna have to wrap up right now, Alex. But
problem.
again,
And Alex is busy.
yeah, and we want to get him back out. He's got to get set up for the sale.
All right.
Lots of fun stuff. Come see him. Plumeria Papa. You have a website. You have a social media following. So even if you don't ship stuff, if you're in the California region and near, Southern California, you could probably go and see one of his sales or visit the nursery, right?
Yeah, I'm all over. I'm LA to San Diego. I do sales every weekend all over the place. Orange County, San Diego Inland Empire. And yeah, if you find me anywhere under Plumeria, you could Google Plumeria Papa and my face will come up.
All right.
Beautiful.
All right.
All right.
Great.
Thank you
guys.
very much,
Thanks for the
Alex.
info.
Great.
Okay, going to take a break. Biz Talk Radio news coming up top of the hour. We come back at 6 minutes after, as far as you're concerned, on Biz Talk Radio for hour number 2. The rest of us on Facebook Live, a short break,
where's your nursery?
and then we'll be right back after these messages. And we are back for those just joining us. It is Garden America on this happy weekend, the weekend after Labor Day. We are broadcasting live, Room 101 in Balboa Park from San Diego, California, via iHeartMedia and Entertainment, and of course our friends on Biz Talk Radio. So we are talking plumerias because we are broadcasting live from the Plumeria Festival 2024 here in Balboa Park. We have one guest after another, and here we go again, Tiger.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. And today,
Oh,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I just wanted to mention that prior to the last break, I didn't realize we were still on air, but one of the listeners wanted to know where Plumeria Papa was located, and his nursery's in Riverside.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where he's located. But again, he goes to sales kind of, all throughout Southern California. So if you follow him on social media, you'll be able to find out maybe a closer sale for you. But at the time, we have Luis joining us from...
Fallbrook, California. Yeah, my name is Luis. I grow plumerias for 19 years. I've been growing plumerias for that long. Very passionate. As you guys can see, the flowers that I breed over.
Beautiful.
All of them are locally grown. My business name is Premium Plumerias. And Premium Plumerias, you can find me. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me as a Premium Plumerias. You can find me as my name is Luis Arturo Lopez Salcedo. And we are located in Fallbrook. Everything is locally grown. We sell from cuttings, plants, blooms sometimes. People they want to make lates, and especially
Yeah.
for the graduation times. But yeah, we do it all. I've been grafting plumerias over 10 years also.
Oh, wow.
So and yeah, my passion is pretty strong.
And you're a
Even
neighbor of John's, I guess, in Fallbrook.
Well, I live in Fallbrook, right? Do you deliver?
Oh, I guess yes, we do. We live. Everything is locally grown in our house, and as you can see, the flowers they are still blooming beautiful as other places in the world.
That is something to mention that Luis talked about with plumeria is that it's a plant that also is leans towards a lot of different things in the sense of you can do the flowers, you can do the cuttings, you can do the plants. You know, it's not just one thing only. From a grower standpoint, because they bloom so much.
Correct.
You know, you don't need the flowers to be a grower in the sense. So why not use them for leis or for petals or for events?
The flowers are the reward. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
that's a good way to put
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
but then you can also ship cuttings very easily
Correct.
all over for people. You know, some plants, you know, they don't ship that way, so that's tough. And then the plants themselves, you can grow them out, grow them in soil, grow them in pots, and then ship them or sell them as well.
I do ship all over the United States
Uh-huh.
only. I off Puerto Rico, Hawaii, you know, and whatever is the U.S. territory.
Yeah.
So I am able to send plants, cuttings, and you know, enjoy the blooms.
And
I really,
what got you into plumerias, Luis?
I have a friend. Her name is Yolanda. And she probably will see me. And she got me a plumeria for the first time almost 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
From the Delmar Fair. And the variety was a yellow one. The name is Celadine. And I saw her bloom for the first time the same year. So I thought, you know, maybe I'm doing something right. So let's continue. I got another one. I got a third one. I got a fourth one. Eventually, I got too many. Right now,
And then you had to move to Fallbrook.
Correct, because I used to rent actually a property to have my plants. But now that we live in Fallbrook, we have 1.3 acres. We have over 400 trees in the ground.
Wow.
Everything it can be from 8, 10, 12 feet tall. And yeah, I really enjoy that. I also have my full-time job on the side. So this is just a hobby.
Yeah.
It's just a hobby.
Tell us about some of the different plants or the flowers that you brought
Yeah.
here, the different plants that they belong to.
So the name of this variety is Heirloom. Heirloom is it got originated in Texas. We have other Mexico here, but like the yellow one here is Lemon Drop. It's another person from Texas who developed that. When you grow plumerias from seeds, you develop new varieties. And new varieties, they come along a lot of the times with more a spectacular flower than where the mother plant is. So that will give you other collection completely unique because nobody else will have it, and that you can grow it and spread it around. You know, we have growers all over the world, Italy, Thailand, but here in California, we have the fortunate to grow the plants and grow very well. You know, the weather. Everybody say it's expensive in California. We pay for this.
Now, these varieties from Texas they look like they have very large blossoms. Are those large for plumeria?
Everything's big in Texas,
Yeah,
Tiger.
exactly.
They call inflows.
Uh-huh.
This called the flower head. They call it inflows, and each one obviously is a bloom. But yeah, this depends on the variety. You can get tiny little blooms. You can get some bigger blooms with stronger fragrance. You know, every single variety is different.
Yeah.
When you're growing from seeds, it's like humans. They look alike, but you can get something completely different.
Yeah, definitely.
One of our listeners, Kathy, since you're talking about the size of the individual flower, she said that she saw one that had a tree that had large flowers, but wanted to know how big the flower can actually get. Like, what is the largest?
We have flowers up to 7 inches long.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, wider, obviously, from point to point on the petals.
Now, are those normally more narrow petal when they're that wide, or no?
No.
Wow.
Most of the blooms, they have 5 petals, and you measure the diameter of the flower. And we have some flowers, they can go up to 6, 7 inches. I have ones that are like a half an inch. Flowers, but they are also very beautiful. You know, every single variety is very unique.
Yeah, that is. And does sometimes the flower size depend on the age of the plant, or is it more just a varietal thing?
Well, when you just root a cutting and you get it to bloom, maybe the flower is not going to have the whole energy of the plant, of the variety developing. But when you're having a bigger plant, you know, the blooms get a little more stronger, a little bit more on the real size of those blooms. With this type of weather, you expect all the blooms to be smaller.
Okay.
The suns make you develop the blooms and open them way sooner than just what is the regular size of the flower.
Okay. Cool. And what are some tips that maybe you have for people to grow plumerias? I mean, you're kind of a grower, you know, well-draining soil, soil that retains moisture. What are some tips there?
Well-drained soils is a key. Plumerias, they don't like to be sitting on water. Another thing is also depends on the area where you live. If you live on the east side of the city, or you live coastal, that also the heat is gonna depends on the colors that you're gonna get on the blooms.
Yeah.
The blooms are the colors on the blooms. They are originated from the sun, so it's gonna be stronger, or you're gonna get whites if you are coastal. But well-drained soil, feed your plant a little bit. If any fertilizer.
Just
You don't
give
have
it
to
some
spend
food.
hundreds and hundreds of dollars on fertilizer. You can just buy the one that is the general one, cut it in half. When you start feeding your plant, if you give her the full amount of fertilizer that is say on the bottles, a lot of the times you can kill the roots.
Oh, okay.
You can burn the roots of the plant, and the plant will not continue growing.
Okay.
But don't feed year-round, right?
But I don't know, because they are seasonal plants.
They're dormant in the winter,
correct.
right?
When they go dormant, no
right.
leaves, no water.
Yeah. All right. Luis, thank you very much for joining us. Lots of great information. Share the name of your nursery again.
This is called Premium Plumerias, and I am located in Fallbrook. And you guys can also find me on Facebook as Premium Plumerias, or my name is Luis Lopez Salcedo.
All right. Well, good luck on the sale today.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Luis.
You got it. And with that in mind, we're going to take a break here on Garden America, broadcasting live once again, Room 101 in Balboa Park, the 2024 Plumeria Festival. Back after these messages on Biz Talk Radio. Okay, welcome back to the show. It is Garden America. It is the 2024 Plumeria Festival here, Balboa Park, San Diego, California. Beautiful day, hot weekend, but hey, that means that plumerias will be thriving, or they should be thriving in this somewhat humid, hot weather, right?
You know, the Plumeria Society paid for this to happen, where they wanted you to really feel immersed in the experience.
And they also in charge of the weather, too?
Exactly. So the humidity, the heat, this is the exact environment that if you were actually looking for plumerias, you'd be in. So.
You'd be in, right. So, John, we have a question before we get to our guest.
Well, when we were talking to Luis, he was mentioning that the flower head was called an inflorescence. And Carla wanted to know how you spelled that, and I think it might have been Luis's accent. She didn't quite understand. So,
well, tell us how to spell it, John. Inflorescence.
yeah, it's
Then use it in a sentence, please, after that.
It's INFLOR essence.
Essence.
Inflorescence.
Exactly.
There you go.
So
Well-
that's the cluster of flowers.
Well, maybe that someone actually that knows a little bit more about inflorescence is going to be joining us, or is joining us right now. Roseanne Lindsay, now you're part of the Plumeria Society.
I am. My husband John and I have been in the society for about 10 years, and we've been growing plumeria for about 25 years.
Wow.
We fell in love with plumeria on our Polynesian honeymoon 44 years ago.
Really?
And wondered if we could ever, try to grow those things here in San Diego. We didn't know whether they would last our winters or whether we had the right kind of conditions. And it took us a long time back then, because we didn't have the internet, to find a place that had plumeria. And we finally found a plant and planted it in our yard at Scripps Ranch at the time, and it grew. And it did really well. And so we kind of went on a mission to be able to find more plumeria. And we ran into someone from the Southern California Plumeria Society and attended a meeting, decided to join. It's been the best experience ever. It's such a wonderful family here, and people really are helpful. They share information, and we've learned so much. And last year, I had the privilege of being a judge at the annual flower show that they're setting up for right now.
And so, aside from growing plants, there's actually a competition involved now with plumerias.
There are, because there's so many beautiful varieties and hybrids, and people even, I'm sure that you've talked about it this morning, are breeding some of their own. And so it's wonderful to get an exposure. As a collector, it's wonderful to get an exposure to all these new things that are coming out, unusual and so forth.
You know, it's interesting that the past couple of guests we've had on this morning, how did you get started with plumeria? And it's like a very modest way to get started. Our last guest got a cutting or got a plant from the Del Mar Fair, and
Right.
it went from there. And you guys on your anniversary or honeymoon,
Our honeymoon, yeah.
you know, oh, this is nice. Let's buy one and take one home, and then from there it just blows up, I guess, right?
It blows up, yes. We have about 150 plants in our yard, and I'm thinking of starting a 12-step program.
I don't blame. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the Plumeria show would be similar to a rose show where you have people come in and they judge the flowers. There's different categories, I would
Exactly.
imagine. And
Exactly.
probably a seedling category, right? Best seedling.
Yeah. So what are some
Yes.
different categories
Oh, my
in the
goodness.
show?
It's almost overwhelming. When I went in to be a judge, the whole room is full of flowers. And there's so many categories, I wouldn't be able to name them all off my
okay.
head. But we have judging for individual blooms as well as inflorescence heads, which
Right.
I just
Yeah.
heard you guys talking
Right.
about.
We're going to spell that again later.
We also have competition for lay making and for floral arrangements, tropical floral arrangements with plumeria and plumeria photography.
Oh, wow.
So we have expert judges come in for each one of those categories, and they professionally judge.
Oh, that's really cool. And you've been a judge before?
I have last
So-
year at the 15th annual.
So what did you judge? Does a judge judge all of those things, or do they specialize in one
Yeah,
particular?
category.
What we did is we had a panel of judges, and we judged all the single flower entries. So they kind of divide them into like all the whites, all the
Okay.
pinks, all the yellows, all the stripes, all the blends, all sorts of. It's almost overwhelming, but
Yeah.
beautiful, and the room smells like heaven.
Yeah.
Do you have a category for most fragrant?
We do.
Yeah.
And we have a really unique way that the society judges that.
Oh.
We have a panel of judges
You
that
blindfold
come
them?
from the San Diego Center for the Blind.
Okay.
And so
You
they're
don't even need.
a neat group of people who
Wow.
are visually impaired
Yeah.
so that they can't judge it on sight,
Yeah.
like what it looks like.
Right.
They just judge by what they smell.
Wow.
And I would imagine their keen sense of smell is even
Yeah.
more than
That's
us.
exactly
Yeah.
why we bring them in,
Yeah.
and they do such an
What a
awesome
smart
That
idea.
is
job
so
with it
neat.
every single year.
That is so interesting.
That
and
is
so
very
neat.
good.
So now, when you were judging the individual blooms, what are some things that you look for in the flower that maybe make it better than others?
We look in each category. We'll look at all of them, of course, as a group, and we look for intensity of color. We look for variegations. We look for striping. We look for the freshness of the flower. We look for all the different qualities of that kind of flower, because there are different petal structures. There are spider kind of floral petals, and then there's the regular, there's the kind of the Asian pointed tips that we see. So that's the kind of thing we're looking for, something that really stands out, that's really striking in its category.
Oh, okay. Now, is the judging happening just today? Just because this is a 2-day event.
It is. It's Saturday, Sunday. Come on down and join us. The judging will happen in a few hours,
Oh.
and then the show will be open to the public after the judging today, say after 3 o'clock today. And then tomorrow, they'll be open from 10 to 2.
So now the thing about it is, I know that there's already a line to get in here for the sale. The sale is intense, but at the same time, go into the judging area, look at some of the
Yes.
plants. You can get inspiration by some of those flowers, and then now come out to the sale portion and actually buy the plant, right?
You can probably trace down that plant.
Yeah.
When you come in, they give you, it's kind of like a shopping list of all the different vendors and what each of them is actually carrying. So you might be able to find the number one best pick.
Oh.
We also have a public voting too for
like a
favorite
people's
flower.
choice kind
yeah,
of thing?
people's
Yeah.
choice. That's exactly right.
Oh, that's fun.
Now, I wanted to ask this. If you're a member of the Plumeria Society, do you get first dibs on
Do you get
shopping?
first dibs.
Yeah?
The reason I ask is because
No, and I can
Plumeria
answer.
Poppy said that, he had a plant, Plumeria Papa.
Yeah.
Said he had a plant here, and I said, do you have more of those? He goes, no, and this one's already sold.
Well, I mean, Roseanne, I was in here yesterday, so I spoke to Ava, the president of the
Right.
society, and there's a lot of volunteers,
Yes.
and a lot of members of the society that participate in this event, and they were in here yesterday shopping.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
So
it's an
volunteers
if you want
get-
to,
That's your
they're
payment as a
special.
volunteer.
Exactly.
And they get to have some first pick.
yeah,
Some.
exactly.
Well, I think that's fair.
It is
I
for
think
their,
so.
for their hard work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They do. It's a lot of hard work, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
temperature isn't exactly the best, is it?
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. So
Well, you
yeah,
get to
no.
meet a lot of nice people besides getting first choice.
You do. That's one of the benefits of being in the society. We've made friends from all over the county and from outside the county who all are passionate about this one flower. And it's amazing that a society could thrive just off of one
Yeah,
flower.
right.
You know, not like all sorts of different varietals or
Right.
different
Uh-huh.
other kinds
Not like
of
a
plants.
garden club.
Right,
Yeah.
a garden club. It's quite
Yeah.
different.
Now, are you still in Scripps Ranch?
No, we've moved to Escondido about
Oh.
20 years ago.
Okay.
And the conditions there are really good. We get a lot of
Yeah.
hot sun, which they love, and not a lot of water.
Yeah.
And they need that at least 6 hours of good sun a day in order to bring out the best blossoms.
But don't you get some cold weather in Escondido? Can't you get some freezing?
You can, and fortunately we live up on a hill, so the frost line, when the rare occasions that
Right.
it goes into the valley below us, we have had once in 20 years some frost damage on the tips, and we worried, but the plants know what to do.
Yeah.
And the burned part turned brown, dry, and fell off, and it put sprouts out the side, and off we went.
There it went. It survived. Hey, Roseanne, so thank you very much for joining us this morning. Lots of great information on the
Yeah.
inside on how you guys judge the contest and what the contest is. Again, we're down here at Balboa Park, room 101 at the Casa del Prado for the 2024 Plumeria Festival put on by the Plumeria Society down here in San Diego. So, Joanne, we'll let you get back to work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, going to take a break. We've got 2 more segments coming up here as you tune in live from the 2024 Plumeria Festival. This is Garden America. Brian Main, John Begnesco, Tiger Palafox. Back after these messages for our network, Biz Talk. Thank you to those on Facebook Live for sitting through the break. But you get to watch us. You get to watch the activity going on around here in Room 101, Balboa Park, San Diego, California. Via iHeartMedia and Entertainment. We are broadcasting live, obviously, the Plumeria Festival 2024. Lots of activity opening up at 10 o'clock for those that are standing in line that want to make their purchases. It is going on today and tomorrow here in Balboa Park. Tomorrow from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m.
You know, there's a buzz in the background from all the people in here
Yeah.
talking, and it's might be developing into a hubbub.
We're very
Yeah.
close to a hubbub.
Yeah. I think when the sale starts, there might be a brouhaha.
Oh, my goodness. You know, that was so cool that Roseanne shared with us on how they judge the fragrance.
I know. I was
yeah.
kind of being facetious when I said blindfolding him, and then she said that
No,
the
they're
blind.
just-
But
why not?
But they're more acute. Their
Yeah.
senses are more acute when it comes
Yeah.
to.
Do
to
they
the
do they do
fragrance.
that? Do they do a fragrance competition for rose events
They
as
have
well?
most fragrant, but
Most fragrant.
But part of the judging on a rose is most fragrant, but then also the appearance of the flower.
So it's not an individual
It's not
thing.
only fragrance.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Can
flower
you
has
cheat
to-
on the fragrance, like some combine
Spray a little
perfume
perfume
on
on
there and then run away?
You could.
Could you live with yourself
That's why.
afterwards?
That's why Brian can't do these competitions. He's like, oh, if I do this, if I do that.
finding a way around
You know,
that.
the first time I judged the most fragrant category at a rose show, I did it with Lorna and Caro.
Oh yeah,
years ago, yeah.
At San Diego Rose Society Rose Show.
Yeah, what a great influence here in San Diego he was for the plants in general, huh?
Right.
I will say this, Tiger, you knew what I was going to say before, just about when I said it, about the perfume. So we think alike. I knew where you were going.
We do, and you know when she then answered it with that, I was so impressed. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, they've thought of it.
They thought of that,
definitely can do it.
absolutely.
Yeah, so lots of fun stuff happening here. So again, the sale opens up at 10.
Right.
So there's about 50 minutes before they open the doors for people to come in here. We need to be out of here because I have a feeling we would get trampled on.
Yeah, you know.
If we're in here.
Dana's worried about a melee.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what she said.
Any more questions, John? Comments?
Yeah, we've got a. This is for Tiger. She says, Carla, if you see a cutting of Gina
Oh,
or any all pure yellow plumeria that are $20 or less, get it for her and she'll pay you back. I haven't seen any $20 or less.
I haven't looked around, but I don't know.
Because
There
that
might
would
be
be
some.
mainly in the spring when they have their cutting.
Their cutting
Yeah,
festival.
yeah.
Because these are all plants.
The
Yeah.
cutting
So
festival.
are these all? I heard you talking to Mike about that. They have a cutting sale
In the spring.
in the spring.
Right.
So these are all just plants now.
Right.
Do you
Now,
know? I don't know if
I
there's
don't-
any cuttings out
I
there.
haven't seen any cuttings,
Okay.
but I do know they have a specific cutting sale.
Yeah.
And this is a plant sale.
Okay.
So we'll have to go out and take a look.
So, lots of fun stuff here. I mean, aside from the plants themselves, and I know we are Garden America, which is really cool in sense of talking about plants, but we also go off topic. And one of the other aspects that they included in this program was the food, the music,
Right.
the lei making competition, as far as also part of this whole event itself.
Yeah.
They've really embraced the whole, culture that goes behind this plant. So, this is something fun to bring people down to and just hang out. Like,
Yeah.
even if you're not even going to buy a plant, what a cool spot to have some good food.
You don't
and
have
hang
to be
out.
qualified for the lay contest. It's open to lay people, right, John?
A layman? Is
Yeah.
there a layman
Yeah,
criteria?
anybody can do it. You don't have to be an expert.
No comment.
No comment.
Well, you laugh, so you already committed yourself.
All right.
Yeah. I know John's been selecting plants as throughout the show here to be able to kind of put them away.
Okay, Lila said if you guys were paying attention that Mike said there were cuttings here.
Oh yeah, if we were paying. See, I'm sorry, Lila.
There's so
just
much going on in our brains right
way
now.
too much going on right now.
Yeah.
I don't even.
I threw in the if you were paying attention part, though. She didn't say that. I know she was thinking it, though.
Oh yeah, exactly. But then at the same time, Balboa Park. So if you're going to come down here to Balboa Park in San Diego, a great place just to have. They were having a which I think is interesting because it's kind of way too early for it, a Dia de los Muertos event in the middle there where the roundabout is for cars to kind of come through. They had this huge structure set up yesterday, and I saw bands.
That's not
and
till November, though.
I know, but they had bands and people in costumes and all kinds
Really?
of stuff happening.
We're getting ready for November, John.
The Japanese Friendship Garden is just, a stone's throw away from here as well.
Exactly,
where,
yeah.
Lots of fun stuff. And then, again, all the museums and everything else that they have. So a good place to kind of have this event and just come down and, again, even if you just don't walk out with a plant, a great place to come and
you
just
can
visit.
hang out. There's a lot going on, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
As they say, bring the entire family.
Well,
Yeah.
Balboa Parks has a lot of history and is world famous. Mm-hmm. And Tiger, you have a connection to
Kate
Balboa
Sessions.
Park. Yeah.
Kate Sessions, the woman that started Mission Hills Nursery, has a huge connection to Balboa Park because she was very influential in the landscape.
Yes.
Well, Balboa Park was developed to try to be a host for one of the
World Fair.
World Fairs.
Yeah, okay, so John, help me. 1911?
I think it.
I was thinking 1915.
Okay. It was between 1900 and 1920.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
safe to assume.
Because it's over 100 years. I remember they celebrated their
Yeah.
centennial, which
You
I
see
think,
the buildings around here. My gosh, built in the early
they were,
1900s.
and the crazy thing about it is that they were built as a temporary. They
Temporary.
were not
They-
permanent
no,
structures.
They're going to take them down.
But they were like, hey, this looks wonderful. We did such a good job. Leave
Right.
them up.
Wasn't this a prelude to the Pan American Exposition?
That's what they were like. They were
Exactly.
building it to host these
Right,
World Fair,
and I
Pan
think
America.
1918 was the Pan American Exposition. So
But the detail of the buildings, I mean, you couldn't build one of these today for,
Yeah, but
under several $100 million.
but then to kind of like what John was saying, they landscaped certain parts of it.
Lila
to
says 1915.
15.
Okay,
Yep.
very good, Lila.
Perfect.
Thank you much.
Well, I should get an attaboy, too, because I was the one who mentioned that.
Yeah, but
here.
Did you say 1915? But you
Yeah.
didn't say it with much conviction.
You would have also said if you guys were paying attention to some of the signage on the way in, Lila would have said it 1915. but walking through here, there's different gardens as well. Like there's the whole palm garden, the Zorro garden. There's all kinds of different. There's that giant ficus tree just right outside of us right now. We parked right in front of it. Hopefully it'll be there
Oh.
when we come back. You think it's going to go anywhere? That ficus tree?
I don't think so.
It's been pretty hot. I'm worried
Yeah.
about it falling over.
No.
But so lots of good horticultural history here in Balboa Park.
Just come down and hang around.
Yeah. Do we have any other
How are we
questions,
doing, John, on the questions and comments?
I may have missed some, but I think we're up to date.
If we
Hey.
missed it, go ahead and repost it again.
And just if John only missed one or two, that's pretty good for him today, because he's been distracted too. There's a lot happening around here.
John's on a roll. He's doing very well.
Yeah.
He's multitasking. I've never seen him multitask this
Well,
much before.
Right?
And we got a threat during the break too.
Oh no.
Because I was given a time limit
To pick up your plumeria.
Yeah, if you want that plumeria, it's going on the table for sale after 10 o'clock.
Yeah, under the table before
So
10.
he's worried now.
Yeah.
He's got 1 foot angled towards the door right,
I
now,
might
ready.
have to leave early.
Yeah, John's like, you guys can break this down, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was surprised, though. Who were the first two people we were talking to?
Well, we talked to Mike.
Yeah, I think it was
No.
Mike and his wife. I had mentioned that, was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, where I planted my plumeria, they did great, and then they all died.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, oh, yeah, that winter was terrible. Everybody lost plumeria.
And he can identify it.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if I should try it again.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because I thought it was unusual that they all froze after doing so well. But, I think it was a combination of the cold weather and rain.
I was
going to
say, wasn't it wet?
Yeah, it rained the whole winter.
So maybe they were like,
even though I had good drainage, it's just constantly wet and cold. It's just not good.
Yeah. Which is so funny because, when we talk about these plants, and I don't want to just speak particularly on just plumerias, but like, we think, they're tropical and they should be able to tolerate lots of rain. But it's different. It's different where they're from. A, the drainage is just ridiculously more than what we have.
Yeah.
B, the rain that they get is a little bit different too, in the sense of what it carries and how it happens and all of that. And then, when you think about plants like, you think about roses and where they're from and why can't they grow in certain regions and the heat and all this. It's just a matter of being accustomed, right?
Yeah.
The plants have to adapt. And when you're in one of those bubble areas, they might adapt enough to withstand where they're at, but then just that little bit of change is too much for them.
And like no water, winter, no water. No water, winter.
Yeah, exactly. So, Brian, are you going to take home any plumerias today? What do you
I'm
think?
looking around here now.
Yeah.
Are you going to buy me a shave ice? I want one with
a shave.
ice
A shave.
cream.
I'm going to buy your shaved ice.
He's going to make sure it's shaved before you
Shaved
eat it.
No,
Where's your
shave
ice cream, by the way?
Yeah.
I thought, didn't you order ice cream?
Did you order one? Get it delivered?
You said somebody was going to get ice cream. You said, I
Oh.
prefer fudge or something. Chocolate fudge sundae.
That was the name of the plumeria.
Oh,
That he brought over was Raspberry Sunday.
and you said, okay, got it now. That's the joke. I've got
Oh, I thought you did get it.
No.
Back then.
That's funny.
Well, it's interesting. She was mentioning about the Plumeria Society having a whole group interested in one flower. It's the same thing with the roses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, roses are more universal because they can grow in more climates.
Do you think so? Do you think roses grow more worldwide than a plumeria will?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break.
Ah.
Come back and wrap it up with our final segment so John can get outside and make his purchase before 10 o'clock to stay online with our friends on Biz Talk Radio as well. One more segment coming up. Those on Facebook Live, any questions, comments? Again, short segment coming up as we wrap things up here from the 2024 Plumeria Festival in Balboa Park, San Diego, California. Okay, we are back, and this is it, the final segment here, broadcasting live, Garden America, the 2024 Plumeria Festival here in Balboa Park. It's been a lot of fun, and boy, the fun's just getting started. 10 o'clock, they're open for business. The line is out the door and around the block, maybe half a mile or so, John. So at least we're in here, and we don't want to leave if we don't have to.
That's how we do things. We were like,
We sneak in.
we want to go to this event. What if we just say we're going to do a radio show and podcast from
Get
it,
in early.
and then we'll get in early. We will just sneak in, and then we're here before everybody else.
I always wanted to go to. I've never been to the Santa Barbara Orchid Show.
There we go.
We
That's
should
our
do
way
that
in.
next year.
That's the way we'll get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
It's true, though, when people say, what are you doing here? We're doing a radio show and Facebook Live. Oh, right this way, here.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
what, can I do anything for you?
Now I'm wondering, is it next week? that the Heirloom Exposition starts? Heirloom Expo?
The one up in Petaluma?
Ventura.
Ventura.
Yeah. It's in Ventura this year.
Oh, I was going to say, is it? Okay.
It used to be in Santa Rosa.
Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
But
I'm
that's
not
the one
positive.
with that's the one with the giant squash pile, right? That we went to.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I loved it.
Yeah.
Baker Creek Seeds, Gerald. Yeah, I've been chatting with them about an upcoming interview, so maybe that's
Well, that's why I was thinking it was next week. I
Yeah.
thought that you were doing it maybe because we originally were thinking of having them this week.
right.
So this is a
Exactly.
spoiler alert for next week on the show.
Exactly.
Okay.
But then the Heirloom Expo would be over.
Yeah. But
Yes.
a lot of great information to share nonetheless,
Yeah.
because they put out their catalog, which is the equivalent to you getting the was it the Sears Roebuck's catalog at that time as a kid, John?
Yeah.
Was it
The seed catalog.
the big catalog? No, but like
It's the Burpee catalog.
no, but like when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And Christmas time came around. What was the big catalog that you would shop from? It wasn't the Burpee catalog, was it? You like seeds as a kid?
The Spiegel catalog, Chicago,
The
Illinois.
Spiegel,
I don't
the
know.
Spiegel catalog.
I don't know. Hey, Dana, Brian says that, are you sure you don't want to stay for another hour? And I think she didn't go into in detail, but I think she wants you to spend some time really looking at what's here, shopping, maybe buying her 2 or 3 plants.
Yeah.
She just wants me to stay away from
Away
the house.
from the house
for a while.
You've been home all week. That's why.
Exactly, right?
She's like, hey, Brian.
Go ahead, take your time.
Yeah.
Spend some more time out there.
Exactly.
Well, I think that she's opened up the opportunity to say, Dana, here's what I bought you.
Yeah.
Usually it's don't bring anything else
Right.
home. We don't have any place to put it.
But plumerias are easy. Put
Yeah,
them in a
plumerias, yeah.
pot. Have you ever?
And they don't need water. You can go on vacation.
That's the one thing about plumerias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, so I'm assuming that this is an option and we just don't see it. But they're grafted. Can you graft multiple varieties on the same
Yes.
plant?
Yeah.
So just like a
That sounds
citrus,
fun.
just like a fruit tree,
Right.
I wonder why we don't see that more often.
Well, you would want to graft varieties that have the same growth habit.
Uh-huh.
And you do that with even fruit trees. You
Right.
don't want something really vigorous with something that's
Right.
not going to grow quite so much, because usually one overtakes the other.
Yeah, that's what they say. With those fruit cocktail trees, they put
Right.
5, but if you get 3, that you're looking pretty
Yeah.
good at the end of the day.
Oh, Dana wants you to take her here tomorrow.
I know. We've talked about that. And she said, of course, you probably don't want to come back after being there on Saturday, So.
Oh,
So I think she wants to pick out her own plant.
Well, here's the thing.
And shave ice.
There's lines to
shave
get
ice.
in here. Lots of lines, big lines. And I imagine tomorrow's not going to be any different.
No, but no.
Okay,
but-
here's what you
No,
do. You leave
no, I
a
will
piece
say-
of equipment here.
Oh, yeah. You got to come back and pick it up,
Yeah.
right?
No, I will say though, and I don't mean to dissuade people from coming tomorrow, but as we mentioned, the lines are here
Yeah.
right now. That's because a lot of things are going to sell out.
First come, first served.
It is. Tomorrow they will still have a lot of plants. They're still going to have a great selection,
Right.
but it's maybe not going to be some of that real unique
Right.
stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, some of that unique stuff, I mean, we're talking $120, $150, $200.
Right.
Yeah.
It could still be here tomorrow because nobody was willing to pay that much for it.
Exactly,
Even if
yeah.
it is unique or rare. And there's plenty of other varieties that are $20, $40, $50 as well here.
But I think you're right, though. The collectors are here today.
Yes.
Yes.
They know what they want.
And they are going to be buying the expensive stuff. So
Yeah.
the bargains will probably be left over tomorrow.
yeah,
It's like the rose auction. They get there early, a day or so early.
Right.
And they watch the speakers, and they know what they want to bid on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but again, kind of back to the event, it's more than just the come and buy plants. Like we said, there's dancers, there's music, there's the show, there's the interaction with people on
Yeah,
how to grow
yeah.
things, what to grow. There's a whole aisle down there about supplies, fertilizers, soil, different tools and things as well when it comes to taking care of your plumerias.
Hey, guys, that's going to do it. That's going to
Wow.
wrap up quick, huh? Quick show.
Dana said we could go another hour. She promises she'll listen.
Anyway, my lovely wife, she listens very intently and makes sure we all sound and look good every week. Hey, thank you so much, those that are tuned in Biz Talk Radio, those on Facebook Live. We're going to wrap things up here from the 2024 Plumeria Festival, Balboa Park, San Diego, California. We are back in studio next week, and again, our guest next week, Tiger?
We're going to be talking with someone from Baker Creek Seeds.
All right, there you go. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're in San Diego and can get down here, all the luck to you. God bless you. Have a great week. Be safe, and we'll do it again next week right here on Garden America. Take care.